Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm JP and today I want to talk about the future of gaming. So sit back, relax and let's dive in. So some of you might have seen the rumours about the Xbox streaming stick. So like a Fire TV stick that's used for streaming video content, the Xbox streaming stick is used for streaming games. Now we've seen certain services in the past like OnLive and PlayStation Now. Also we've seen Xbox Game Pass Ultimate that you can stream on your iPad or your iPhone. But are we ready for this yet? I done a video not too long ago exploring streaming services and they just weren't that great. The big problem with streaming services when it comes to games is the latency, the lag. Now with video, it's not really an issue, but when it comes to games, taking the input from the controller, sending it over the internet to the data centers, then back again, that creates lag. So when you push the button to something happening on screen, you notice a delay. Now the only way to get around this is to have ridiculously low latency. Now with fibre optic, you can achieve that, but not many people have fibre optic yet. So at the moment it's not really viable in my opinion. But let's fast forward a few years. What if they do get the internet and the infrastructure sorted? So what's the pros and cons to both? Having the physical hardware or streaming it online? Having the physical hardware is great. You can play your game anytime and anywhere, regardless if you've got internet or not. In most cases, I know there's some games that you need to be connected online to actually play them, but there's a lot of games that you don't. So having the physical hardware, especially if we're talking disc, we're not talking about the Series S or the PlayStation 5 digital edition. If having the actual consoles that take the discs, you can collect your games, you can resell the games, you can borrow the games to friends. That's a really good pro. But what pros are there with streaming? Well, there's a lot more than you think. And please let me know if I miss any sort of pros to streaming in the comments below. So I think the first and foremost is cost. It's so much cheaper to buy small little dongle, probably bundled with a controller for about $100 compared to paying $500 for the PlayStation 6 when it comes out. So the cost is going to be a lot cheaper. The initial layout will be a lot cheaper than what it would be to buy the PlayStation 6 or the next Xbox, whatever they call that. Also, touching on the cost, as long as your stick is still functioning, no need to upgrade. They might bring out new controllers with new features, but that would just be a controller upgrade. You'd be very lucky if you had the original controller that came with your console at the end of its life when you upgrade to the next one. So with the stick, you could buy the bundle for say $100, plug the stick in, you've got your controller, buy another controller if you want. But when new games come out with new technologies like ray tracing, when we first seen ray tracing released, you had to buy an RTX card to get that benefit. I know there was some ways around it to get RTX working on non-RTX cards, but let's just assume we're talking consoles here. If the console doesn't support it, it's not going to work. But if you have a stick and all the processing power is done way somewhere else in a data center, they do the upgrades, so you don't have to. So that's another benefit. New games come out, new technology, better graphics, massive open world games that just couldn't run on the current gen. They just upgrade the servers. Nvidia bring out new graphics cards. They put these graphics cards in the data center. You don't know this is going on. You don't care that this is going on. You just know that when a new game comes out, you're going to get a good experience. Now, again, we are talking 5-10 years in the future when the internet infrastructure is a lot better. We're not talking what it would be like now, because as we know, unless you've got unless you live next door to the data center and you've got a fiber optic cable going straight into the data center, your experience may vary. I can definitely see Microsoft having a subscription service with PCs in the cloud. You'd buy sort of a low powered bare bones desktop or laptop. It would connect to that service and you'd have different subscription tiers. So you could have one for say $10 a month, and that's your basic PC, your entry level PC. No fancy graphics here, we're talking Intel HD or the AMD built-in graphics. That machine would be just to get on the internet, do work on it, maybe your kids do their schoolwork on it, sort of the bare bones sort of PC. Then they could have different tiers to the subscription. You could have a $20, $30, $40, $50 going through the stages of entry-level gaming PC, mid-spec, to top of the range, $50 a month. You've got top of the range gaming PC with say a 3080 Ti. You've got ample storage, SSD, NVMe. I think that would be a really good solution, especially if they had things in place where you could pause your subscription and change up your subscription. So say for example, I work from home, I need a PC to do my work on. I could pay the $10 a month, happy days. But then I've got a month off work. I'm on holiday. I want to do some gaming. Upgrade the subscription, play some games, and then when I go back to work, I can downgrade the subscription. Or my job changes. I now have to go and do something else. Working from home is not an option. I can pause the subscription until I need it later on down the line, or just completely cancel it. You can't buy £1,000 PC and then just stop using it and get your money back. So going by that, I do think having cloud PCs is a really good option, just especially because of the cost. It's so much easier for most people to pay $10 or $20 a month than paying $1,000 outright to buy a PC and build it. So my prediction for the future of gaming, well, I think at the moment we're going to see a PlayStation 6 and we're going to see the next generation of Xbox. But after that, I can see Sony, Microsoft deciding to go down the cloud gaming route. Maybe still offering, a PlayStation 6, a PlayStation 7, but also offering the streaming sticks alongside them. We all know that games consoles cost millions of dollars, maybe even billions of dollars collectively for the research and development and making these consoles. But what if they didn't have to spend all that money? What if they just had a Fire TV stick style streaming device so they could just concentrate on making games? Games would be a lot cheaper, I think, especially if there was no option for a physical copy. There wouldn't be $70, $80 for Gran Turismo 7. They would be able to move some of those savings, because we all know that companies don't make money on these consoles. You look at the hardware specs and the current price of silicon, etc. They might be selling these consoles at a loss or very small sort of profit margins where it doesn't really matter because they make their money from the games. Having a streaming only service, I think it's a really good idea. But I must remind you guys, we're not there yet. We've still got some way to go with the infrastructure. Just look at Google Stadia. In my eyes, that was a flop. So we need better internet, very low latency, and I think streaming's just going to be the future. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Would you be happy with a streaming future? Or you're just not interested in that? You want the console doing all the power and processing in your living room under your TV. So I'm going to end the video here. I hope you enjoy my content. I know I haven't done many videos recently, but if you look at my last video, that explains why. I'm JP, you've been watching Alien Gaming, and I'll catch you in the next one.